Yeah, that's right.
I delegated that one.
Anything else you need?
6I-7.
You have the hotline, huh?
That is a pain driving
Yeah.
10th Street and 6th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes versus 12 or 15.
You ready?
Let's get started. I've asked our Director of Public Works, Tom Block, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the June 5th, 2014 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Kevin Cook, who serves as vice chair and represents District 2, and Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
First item, please.
First item is under proclamations, presentations. Number 1, presentation of the Kansas County Clerks and Election Officials Association Scholarship to Reina Garcia.
Good morning. If we could have Reina, if you and your parents would come up here, we'll just tell you briefly a little bit about Reina and the scholarship that the Elections Officials Association has. Reina is a senior at Topeka High and is a winner of one of the scholarships that is provided by the Kansas County Clerks and Elections Officials Association. Our association awards about 10 of these awards every year, and you actually were number 1 out of nearly 200, so congratulations on that good effort. The scholarship has been in place for several years, and it was started by funds from the Associated Press and major news outlets. Currently, the funds are provided through a silent auction, and actually most of those funds are raised directly from clerks and elections officials. So, again, we're proud to be able to do this. Cindy Beck and I are very proud to be able to print this to you, present this.
Reina, I'd like to read a little proclamation that comes from, normally they come from the commissioners, but this one, since it is from our association, it comes from the election commissioner and me. Cindy Beck, Shawnee County Clerk, and Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner, are proud to announce that Reina R. Garcia, a senior at Topeka High School, is one of the winning applicants of the Kansas County Clerks and Election Officials Scholarship. Whereas, communications and public science have been her main subject. She has also participated in student government, National Honor Society, softball, and volleyball. Her achievements include being an honor roll student, National English Honor Society, Tower Award winner in science, and being named to all city and all league athletic teams. In the community, she has been active as a volunteer for Fiesta Mexicana, Share Fest, and Our Lady of Guadalupe. Whereas, Reina plans to continue her education at Coffeyville Community College this fall, where she will pursue a degree in communications or political science. Therefore, we are proud to award a $500 scholarship from the Kansas County Clerks and Election Officials Association to Reina R. Garcia of Shawnee County.
Cindy, if you want to get in there, I'd like to get a picture for her. And one more. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
This morning. Thank you for doing this.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Andrew.
It's good to see you, sir. Wow, that it's just nice to see young people that are going to be the leaders of the future. And again, congratulations. I'm very impressed. Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda as presented by Commissioner Bueller and seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Mr. Chairman, this morning we have vouchers that total $534,891.02. The highlights out of those would be our withholding taxes, the cries in healthcare for the Department of Corrections, our holding accounts with the state of Kansas, information technology for a renewal, and with Public Works with some of their projects. And I would move for approval of those vouchers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers as presented by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll make a motion to approve the correction orders as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer and seconded by Commissioner Bueller to approve the correction orders. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A3, consider annual renewal of Home Depot ARC tax exemption for 2014. Commissioners, this is an industrial revenue bond, and they have met the one qualification to pay their in lieu of tax of $1,000. They have paid that, met meeting the qualifications. We just ask that you approve the exemption for one more year.
Are there questions or comments?
I have none. I'd move for approval of the renewal of the tax exemption.
A second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Health Agency, number 1, consider approval of request to reclassify the Adult Field Services Division Manager to a Family Health Division Manager and to fill the position at an annual salary, including benefits, of $63,770, and to fill any subsequent positions that become vacant from filling this position, funded by grants, fees, and tax allocation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ed Kalis with the Health Agency Local Health Department. Basically, the incumbent person in this position is leaving next Friday, and we're looking at reclassifying this position because of the name change, and the name change is based on the new functions that this division provides. Previously, when it was the Adult Field Services Division, it also included senior programming, but the home care division and previously the home health division have left this division. So currently, they do home visits, provide nursing services and social services in the homes of mothers and children up to the age of 1, and so that also requires the name change. The main function of this position is program development and management, and a major part of it is grant management and interagency collaborations. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner.
Ed, is this, there's no change in range or step?
No.
It just deals with the name?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I'll move approval.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Can I make a motion to defer this for 1 week until 6/12 of 2014? I'd like to talk, I really didn't get a chance to talk to Allison, but briefly about the reclassification, and also I'd like to talk to the HR director more about reclassification criteria and the process that we use to do that. So I'll make a motion to defer this for 1 week if that's
Is
acceptable.
it time sensitive?
Is it time sensitive?
We are going through a lot of changes, as you know, with the
Right.
potential separation of the health agency, and this is a major functioning position. This one and the next one that we have on the
So
agenda,
what would happen if we deferred it for 1 week?
nothing disastrous.
Okay.
I have no objection to deferring it for 1 week for Commissioner Archer. I'd second your motion.
Motion made to defer for 1 week by Commissioner Archer and seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B2, consider approval of request to fill a communicable disease registered nurse position at an annual salary including benefits of $50,801 and to fill any subsequent positions that become vacant from filling this position, funded by grants, fees, and tax allocation.
Again, we have another employee who's leaving, and this is one of the positions that is left. It is part of our communicable disease clinic that we run at Central Park. This position deals with sexually transmitted diseases, tuberculosis, and our communicable disease surveillance system, and it is one of the positions that we're seeking to refill.
Questions or comments for Ed?
No, I do not. I would move to refill this position given its safety in the community.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B3, consider authorization and execution of contract C-229-2014 with Pulmonary and Sleep Associates for contractual physician and consultation services at a cost of $150 per hour plus $250 per month for professional medical and health care consultation services for the communicable disease program, funded by tax allocation.
This contract allows us to do the medical things that we do with the tuberculosis program. This doctor provides us the medical orders that allow us, the nurses to treat the patients that we see, either active cases or infected folks with tuberculosis.
Are there any questions about the contract?
I have none.
Move approval of the contract.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, next item.
Item C, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-230-2014 for annual maintenance of the New World software in an amount of $28,846. Funding included in the 2014 budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Phelps, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is an annual process that we go through, and I want to emphasize that this is just the Department of Corrections part of the annual software maintenance agreement.
Questions or comments about the contract?
I have none. I'd move for approval of the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Tim. Next item.
Item D, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider request for direction regarding proposals submitted for the operation and management of the Abbott Community Center.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. This item and the one that is on the commission agenda to follow are related. The first item that I'd want to talk about is the RFP process. The second item, if the County Commission provides direction, may make that second request moot. But to provide you a little bit of history, a little over a year ago about this, or a little less than a year ago at this time, the Abbott Community Center we inherited from the city of Topeka. They paid Community Action, a private group, to manage and operate the Abbott Community Center programs in there. During the summer, we began to get some concerns about the availability for restrooms, the lack of participation in programs. As we investigated, we decided, found that to be true, so we eliminated that contract. Following that, we had a public meeting. There was quite a bit of input from the neighborhood over there, and what we continued to hear was the community wanted programs for kids, accessibility from the neighborhood to be in that building. So what we did is we came back and we went out for an RFP process. We received 2 RFPs back, one from the East Topeka Community Development Corporation and also the True Foundation are the 2 proposals. During all of this time, the Parks and Recreation budget was severely reduced. One of those proposals was to sell the community center. So in-house, we've had several discussions. It's been hard for us to fight that back, to be able to take the money that I know the county could use and Parks and Recreation could use. But what we've decided to do is we looked at the entire picture, what it is that the community wanted, and even in these public meetings and subsequent public meetings, that the County Commission even held presentations here from both groups to come in and make presentations. What we continue to hear, or what I continue to hear from the community, is it needs to be for the area youth, programs for the youth, and open to the public to be able to come in and access the stuff that's in the community center. Reviewing all of that, sat down with several of the groups, continued to try to work through this proposal. Right now, honestly, neither one of those proposals, in my opinion, rose to the level of where I could recommend something to the commission. So the item before you today is to, I'm asking for your direction on this. I see you having 3 options. I see you having the option of sending us back to negotiate with one of the 2 groups, sending us back to negotiate with both of the groups, or eliminating the RFPs and going from there. I'll be happy to stand for any other questions you may have.
Are there people from the public that'd like to comment on this item?
Yes, my name is Philip Owens, President of the East Topeka Community Development Corporation. I'd like to speak a little bit, not too much, and one of the Vice President of the corporation would like to speak too. My situation is been quite a period of a time to come to this resolution of what we're going to try to do with the Abbott Center. I'm just wondering, why is it taking so long? And in the first place, the center wasn't supposed to be closed. Now, I heard different comments from Mr. Knight, talked to the councilman, the commissioner, and they said in due time things was going to work out. I just don't see on the agenda where you got faith and hard work ministry, did they put in a proposal? Or did they put in anything concerning the Abbott Center? I'm just kind of concerned that, you can't plan anything in my livelihood if I set everything aside just to wait to hear the comments on what the Abbott Center was going to do. It's been quite a long time. And that kind of put me on hold as far as trying to be able to talk to any of the people in the community to sit here and tell them something that I could be lying to. So that's the reason why I really haven't really reached out a lot, because I was waiting on a decision from the councilman and from Mr. Knight. I don't like what's going on, but you're the commissioners, Park and Rec. I just wish we could get things done in a timely manner, and that's all I want to bring to the table.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
Excuse me. Good morning. My name is Sylvester Rice. I'm the Vice President of the East Topeka Community Development Corporation, which is a valid nonprofit organization. My views are a little different from the President's, and it's probably a little different from all of you here. And I want to speak to it with specificity so that we'll all have the understanding when I leave the podium here. I've done an autopsy on the Kansas statute that authorizes the commissioners to carry out your business, and the 13 issues that are outlined in the Kansas statute, you have failed to comply with those. Second to that, I wasn't present when all of you were sworn in, but you did swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and of the state of Kansas. To that end, the fact that you have not held those dear to your performance, you are in violation of federal laws, and I'm going to enumerate those to you so that you'll understand why the only due course now is have the citizens of Shawnee to look at a possible recall for all of you. One of the federal laws that you have violated in the performance of your responsibility is 42 U.S.C. 1983, civil action for deprivation of rights. The way you've tried to work things, and for you, Commissioner Cook, and for you, the attorney for the county, you should know these things and so advise your clients to abide by these rules. For you to have singled out the Abbott Center, treated it the way that you treated it, perpetrated deception by asking for RFPs to which you chose to ignore, caused your activity to rise to the level and cross the threshold of discriminatory practices. In addition to discriminatory practices, you have and you continue to benefit from the violations of 42 U.S.C. 2000A, which prohibits interstate transportation from coming through the state of Kansas, stopping at one of your side bus stops, and not having accommodations for interstate passengers, just to name a few. There are others that will be enumerated with a specificity in a claim that will rise to the occasion to execute the requirements of a recall for, for replacing all of you, and to have your actions looked at as a benefit of the law. My final question is to ask you, if you were not going to make the right decision, why would you make any decision at all? I have no further comments.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other participants in the public here? Questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner.
Commissioners, this is a matter that I've spent quite a bit of time working on, working with John Knight, working with members of the community. I think that I would like to start with the last comment that Mr. Rice made, which is if we can't make the right decision, we should not make a decision at all. And in that vein, when we had the community meeting before the RFP, during the RFP process, after the RFPs were submitted and before the commission, and at the public meeting that I was present at, all of those times, all of those occurrences, the input from the community was that they wanted to see a safe place for the children of the community to go to. I am not at a point in this time in my tenure on the commission to recommend that we sell the Abbott Center, which is what the TRU would be asking us to do, which is sell the Abbott Center to that group. Given that we removed that from being the option, we look at the East Topeka Corporation, and if we look at that corporation, their plan does not encompass any activities for the children or youth of the community. And in that manner, both of them fall short. It's not that there's anything, that there's any fault on either of the parties, but it does not meet the needs of the community. And I would ask the commissioners at this time to consider rejecting both of the proposals.
I'll ask county councilors, is that appropriate motion?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't have anything to add. Very well spoken. I'll second that motion.
A question.
Yes, Commissioner.
Commissioner Cook, so at this time, rejecting both proposals, and it looks like our next possibility would be to contract for a short amount of time, till August 15th.
Yes.
For some direct services. But would it be your intention then to reopen that request and give everyone a second chance? Just asking.
Absolutely. The action, I think, really that's before us today is whether or not we should accept or reject the two RFPs before we consider anything else. We had requested, proposals from the community. We have these two.
Mm-hmm.
If we reject these two, I would ask that the commission direct John Knight to reach out to the members of the community, other organizations, to see if there's a other option that would encompass the needs of the community, which is a safe place for children to go for the community center.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would think it would be worth reopening and giving everyone in the community, including those involved here today, a second chance to submit those proposals. And as long as we can do that legally. I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. Motion made by Commissioner Cook to reject the proposals submitted and to reopen the process. seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item D2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-231-2014 with Faith and Hard Work Ministries to lease the Abbott Community Center for the operation of a free lunch program for children's ages infant to 18 years of age and volunteer efforts to have the center open and supervised between the hours of 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday from June 9th, 2014 through August 15, 2014.
Commissioners, this item addresses a lot of the immediate issues of what we just talked about. A group has stepped up and volunteered to bring a free lunch program into the neighborhood or into the building in which all of the people from the neighborhood could have access to at least one good meal a day. Also, they will keep the building open, so people using the park, people using the spray ground, all of those people would have access to the restrooms as well. We do have a porta potty there, but there's a big difference between a porta potty and an actual restroom, and I think this is a good option. It keeps the building open, it has the public access to it while we continue to work out the bigger issue of the long-term future of the Abbott Center. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions or comments?
I have none.
Again, this is just a short-term solution for specific purposes
Yes.
until August 15th.
We will be receiving a final strategic plan for Parks and Rec shortly.
Yes.
And I assume, and I know that it's going to address our buildings, our equipment, what maintenance needs to be done, and I'm sure Abbott Center and others are going to be on that
Yes, sir.
plan. And I think it's going to be important when we get that to look at our assets and on a going forward basis, how we're going to fund improvements to Parks and Rec.
Okay.
So, we have a motion.
Not yet, but I would move for the approval of the contract for the lease of the Juan Poppy Abbott Community Center for the summer, ending in August of 2014.
And I'll second that. Motion made by Commissioner Cook to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, John. Next item.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item E, Commission Number 1, consider appointment to the Ambulance Advisory Board.
I would recommend that Brooke Schumacher be appointed to the Ambulance Advisory Board. I've reviewed her resume, and she is eminently qualified for the position and will make, in my opinion, significant contributions to the Ambulance Advisory Board.
Second.
I would just note that this is an at-large
Yes.
position.
Yeah.
So I agree with that assessment.
Okay,
Commissioner Archer.
thank you. Motion made to appoint Brooke Schumacher to the Ambulance Advisory Board by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. It being the first Saturday of the month, our household hazardous waste facility will be open from 9 to noon for collection of old paints, oils, batteries, light bulbs, things from the household. And that's located just east of North Topeka Boulevard on Northeast 46th Street, about a quarter mile east of that intersection. And just so people know, there is construction going on at that intersection, so they're more than likely going to have to wind their way around or come in from the east to get there.
What we found out recently is you don't take microwaves that don't work there.
Oh.
But we were able to go to Best Buy, and they took it. If anybody has a problem, they took it and they're going to dispose of it responsibly, and we bought a new one there. So, thank you, Tom. Other comments from the public? Okay, Commissioner, anything?
Well, the lake level should be coming up, and so John should be, happier about that for our activities at the lake. So,
Thank you, Commissioner.
I have nothing.
Next item.
Item 6, executive sessions.
There is a need, and I'd like the county counselor, we're in a pattern of having the executive sessions, and I'd like the county counselor to just give us a brief summary of executive sessions and how they relate to the Kansas Open Meetings Act as a refresher for everyone. So, take it, Rich.
There are a variety of reasons that you can go into executive session, but limited to counties, we basically use 4, so those are the only 4 I'm going to talk about. The first one is, of course, personnel actions. Non-elected personnel, so we can't go in and discuss Cindy Beck even as much as we might like to. However, and there's very good reasons for that. With non-elected personnel, that we're talking about the privacy of our employee, certain actions that could cause embarrassment and things like that. So that's the motivation for having non-elected personnel to be an exemption. The other one is legal advice, particularly when we're trying to settle cases. You don't really want to have out in the public what our top dollar is to settle a case, because that's where every single case would settle. So one of the exemptions is for legal advice, and not just that, but the attorney-client privilege, at least to us attorneys, is the most sacrosanct of our vows that we take. And if that was open, it would be worthless. The third one that we use is matters relating to employee and employer representations, whether it's a bargaining unit, a union, or perhaps a classified system, whatever it is. When you're talking about the relationships and the negotiations back and forth, those are, again, subject to being exempted from an open meeting. And the rationale for that is similar to, again, if everyone knows what our top dollar is, that's what we'd pay. And then finally, the one that we use is the acquisition of real property. That's key to note because we can't talk about selling property. The only way to talk about selling real estate property is right here. But if we're talking about buying real estate, then you can go into executive session for that. Once again, the top dollar principle comes to effect. If everyone knew what we were willing to pay, not only would we pay the top dollar, sometimes that might not even work itself, because now you get into land speculation. So those are the 4 main reasons that we use.
Thank you, Rich. It's kind of routine going into executive session, and we talk about it, but the Kansas Open Meetings Act is important, and this commission respects that act, and I just think it's important every now and then to review what we can do and to make sure the public knows that we follow the Kansas Open Meeting Act very closely. So I'll make a motion that we move into executive session for a period not to exceed 30 minutes. And this will discuss non-elected personnel, attorney-client privilege, negotiations with the bargaining unit, and the preliminary discussions of the acquisition of real property. And that is a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 30 minutes. Seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Those say no. Motion carries. We're in executive session and no action is anticipated.
You know, as it turns out. Really bad. Then if you're really bad, now we catch it. They don't have a.
Archer, they didn't have, nobody seconded it, they couldn't put it down, they said it extended for 10 minutes.
Archer. It was fun, and
getting here, by the time we get here.
Time.
Get an upgrade there, Larry? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ronaldo's still here, that's always a good sign. We ready? We are out of executive session, we're back in regular session, and no action is required, and we are adjourned.